Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to do the Tower of Pwnage and see if we can make it all the way through with this team we've been working on for a while. So let's get in here and get started. So it's going to be primarily the flying team, dragon team, depends how you talk about it, Lorelei, Niveus, Arrakis, and Agnon. And then if we lose somebody, we've got some replacements. I put Agnon at the end. Primarily because he's got that granite form, so he can throw a ton of damage while he's in that form. Down a little bit. Which is nice to keep him in that form as long as possible during those initial stages where you get a lot of, you take a lot of AoE damage. Overall, this team has a ton of healing and ability to keep debuffs off of them. With these early ones, we've got quite a few where we won't have too much threat. I'm going to go ahead and use some of the skills. Once we get closer near to the top, I'll hold off on some to play a little bit more tactfully. But for now, we're just going to try to move through these lower levels quickly. This next group doesn't look like much of a threat either. You can see we've got a huge level advantage over them as well. And if we do get all the way through, then I'll go back to the characters and show the rune setup I have. Most of the rest of this isn't too big of a difference between teams. You've got the levels, epics, whichever characters can have epics. But there's not a ton of customization other than the runes. As I've talked about in some other videos, I'm pretty defensive in the runes that I'm going for. We'll do this at the same time so I can concentrate and talk. Just trying, especially for this team, trying to make sure either for any campaign levels that I'm going for, or for the Tower of Pwnage, I want to have a very defensive team to just stay alive, and then Lorelei provides that every turn she's healing and keeps the debuffs off of us. Now for that fourth character, so I need to have Niveus, I need to have Arrakis, and I need to have Lorelei for this team, but you don't really have to have Agnon for this team. You can use Serenity, I sub in sometimes depending on the team, or Vandar, or other heroes, other characters there, but this is a good, with Agnon it makes a nice team as well, and just easy to run with. If you come across the dwarf team like this, they have a lot of damage up front. Now this one may be under-leveled in comparison to us, but if you can survive the initial barrage, then you can do well, and you'll heal back up over time. This is a pretty common team. You see, they're just much lower level and likely not runed out as strongly as my team. Another nice thing with this team is that if you don't have someone on the opposing side that can clear corpses, then both of your dragons have a route to resurrect. So Agnon is super tanky with that granite form. Lorelei I try to make especially tanky, and I also have a rune on her so she can't be targeted. But the two dragons have routes for revival, which can really help out. As long as their corpse isn't cleared. Here we've still got like a 10 level difference on this team. I'm going to go ahead, we'll save that for next time. I'm trying to get through these early teams quickly. So I can show what it looks like at level on higher floors. One thing you'll notice, we're taking a reasonable amount of damage, but not really getting close to death, and then every turn, at the end of the turn, we're healing by a lot, and that's really what makes me enjoy this team for the Tower of Pwnage more than other teams. If you've got a healer on any given team, if you're trying to use one team to get through, it's just a lot less complex than having a bunch of team members that you're using. One of the big reasons now is because runes are such an important part of the game. If you have almost any team and they don't have runes on them, we'll go through what I was talking about here, then you're going to have a lot more trouble. You likely won't be able to get far on the tower. So if you have maxed out runes, you want to be on your best team. Go ahead and They got some heavy hitters here. I think they're probably not super durable. Let's do this. One of them run away. Invaders resurrects here, so he's back to good. Take out their Niveus. We're back to pretty much full health, so I've got quite a bit of defense and health for my Niveus, but he still can be taken out. The only concern really is when there's someone that can clear a corpse. His Resurrect has a 3-turn cooldown, you could say, or powers up over 3 turns, but it starts out powered, so you'll get in that next turn right away, which is a huge help. The only thing that's a pain here is Ella. She can charm one of ours. We have the same issue here. And this is what I didn't want. Okay, so Magnon's missing some health. Go ahead and heal him up. And then we'll do this. As touch and go as this looks, we're still doing pretty much so. It's full health. We waded through this damage. No real concerns. Take this guy out. A lot of damage. There's Ella to worry about. And last hit, she's out and back to full health. So again, this is what really makes this team shine, as long as there's not anyone that can clear corpses. If there is, you gotta do a little different strategy sometimes. So here's an example, and we'll have to, we've got Moriko that could potentially clear, or will clear corpses if anyone dies, and Serenity can do a lot of damage. We will see what happens. And really, Niveus is the only one that I worry about dying on that first turn. We'll go ahead and use Gift of Flight to reduce their damage. So, Serenity's got a couple hits in here, but she did have that debuff. Doesn't look like it's gone, but that helped out, so we didn't take quite as much damage. Let's see if we can reduce her attack. The other concern is hitting Moriko and having him do that reflected damage. We took the reflected damage on Agnon, so at least that's out of the way for a couple hits. Hopefully we can just finish him off. Hit from that reflected damage from Moriko, and we're going to want to try to heal him back up at least as much as we can this turn. Alright, so back to full health again. So all of our team. And we should be finishing off. We get some of those cooldowns back as well. Grab some water and move us along. Alright, on to floor 8. Just a few more of these to go. So right away I'm seeing we've got fast character, first one ready to go. That Stone Crusher is going to take away 1 energy from each of us. That's a pain, but not very much damage, as you can see. Again, another fast character, and Agnon is probably the only threat. You see, he just about finished off Niveus. And what I'd like to do, I don't think I'll Marcus' is going to be in a lot of danger. We'll go ahead and try to finish some of these off. We also want to take the damage for Niveus. I can do his shots so he can heal up a little bit, but it didn't do much. And let's see, where do I want to go next? Okay, so we lost Agnon. That was a pretty surprising hit there. We really don't want this to finish this without Niveus. We can replace Agnon, but Niveus would be a pain. We go here. Alright, and Niveus is back. Very close on the end. Again, I don't mind losing Agnon too much. We've got other good options. And 3 floors to go. We can do Grandar or Serenity. I'm going to go ahead and put Serenity in, and I'm going to swap the order. This could be a really challenging team. In there. Just finishing off. Because it can be a challenging team, we'll go ahead with Gift of Flight again, try to just get through it, keep our armor up, or keep our, take less damage. Nice and power. Good to keep Serenity's health high. She's not going to benefit from Lorelei's heal. And Niveus is back. So I want to... We don't have another dragon here, but I'd still like to take him out quickly. So now he's going to stay down. Hit him down. We'll go ahead and heal. We'll probably be taking some damage here. Mostly from the reflection. Looks like we took some reflective damage again. And if we just finish off here, the threats are gone. Come back to she can be very hard to kill with the right build. But there she goes. And we're in pretty decent shape to continue up the tower. I have had good runs. I feel like this team is just kind of to the level where we started to clear relatively regularly, and I think if I can get the next 5 levels up to 80 and continue with the runes that I'm trying to do to make them as survivable as possible, we're going to have a very high success rate on the tower. Let's see. There's any chance we can just take her out early? Very well. Lost Serenity. But it should be alright. Like I said, we can just swap her out. I'm mixed either way. As well. Most of the threat for this team should be gone. I would actually like Alrakis to die, and then we can just resurrect him. That works. survive till next turn and the silence comes off, then we're good. Put this on. Take this lot of damage. And then bring the weapon strike. And finish off with almost full health. Maybe it's missing a little bit. We've got to replace Serenity, but we're continuing our way up the tower. Alright, and we're on our last one. This will be, I do think this will be the most challenging, depending on what their runes are like. And I think we'll go with Grandar to double check that I do have him fully runed out. Okay. There we go. Start again, give flight, make us a little more survivable. Move any of their buffs. Using that early, we're going to go here for Doom. If we can kill them with Doom on, then they won't be able to resurrect. This works for us at the end of the turn. Okay, all three die. I'm 100% sure what's going to happen with this, if they will be resurrected or not. And I'm going to go ahead and heal even more. But we're looking like we're in good shape. And that's really it. We'll do the final floor, but at this point, it's a given. That final floor is easy for any level. You know, we're not. If you make it this far, you won't have any trouble. We'll auto run it. Try to go through quickly. And kind of talk about the team a little bit. So, like I said, this team is doing a pretty good job making its way up most of the time. Most of the time I keep it. Most of the time I keep Agnon, and he doesn't die. You can have trouble if you've got someone that clears corpses, but you're always going to have some weakness. The closer you get up to that maximum level, like level 80, it does seem like it's a little easier. There aren't as many players that are massively stronger, and then the runes are making a big difference too. Now, the big downfall for me with other teams is their ability to heal continuously. So take a look at the heroes here real quick. And what I mean by that is, with Lorelei healing every turn, and we've got some runes on them that will heal 10%, 15% of their health every turn, you can kind of keep bringing that up, as opposed to older teams that I was using, like Chief Nubnub as my main healer. You could get heals off crits as long as you had Bramble there and still alive and all that kind of thing. Or you could heal whenever his skill was available. But if his skill's on cooldown, you still need to heal, then you're kind of out of luck. So this team, one of the big things, make him as survivable as possible, and then healing every turn and keeping the debuffs off, that's what's kind of really, really helping the team. Alright, so you can kind of see my lineup here. If we go to Arrakis, I believe, some folks in the comments have told me. We've got defense. Really, I'm looking to stack up as much defense as I can and have some health as well. For fire runes, it's very hard to find defensive type or defensive stats on fire runes. It is possible, but I don't have it right now. I've got a damage reduction. I think I made this in one of the events to reduce damage. It was interesting. You max out at something like 50% damage reduction, and apparently damage reduction primarily works against damage penetration, and then any remainder then has an impact on actually reducing your damage. So I think my understanding is that 1-for-1 damage penetration removes damage reduction. It kind of creates a multiplier. If there was none of either, then you'd have just ×1 for your damage and all the other things that go into damage calculations. But if you have, say, 10% damage penetration and there's no damage reduction, then it's like 1.1 that you're multiplying all the damage by. If you've got damage reduction of 10% that's left over after penetration is taken into account, then you kind of have a 0.9 there that multiplies. So it's nice to have some damage reduction. I'd have to run more numbers on these. It looks like there's diminishing returns as you add damage reduction and as you add defense, so it's nice to have a combination of both if you can. and then here again, defense, defense. These aren't ideal, these aren't perfect by any means, but I'm moving in the direction. This is what I have available right now, and it's working pretty well. So here for Niveus, I've got defense, 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 defense. I've got health on these. Here, cold-blooded, this is a good one for when I put a reptile in the team. So like Grandar, you get an additional attack and defense bonus. But it has some pretty high stats, and in the lane that I want them to be in on its own. I get some additional health from this one, almost 900 health here. Good defense, defense, health. Defense, defense, attack. And so if you look at his stats, he's got defenses over 8,000 and health over 12,000 for a 2-star. Once I get his star level up a little higher, that should start really helping out. And I may even be able to lean a little further away and onto attack, but I really want them to be survivable. I've got 3-star on Alrakis here, and I'll just zoom down so you can see his stats as well. Defense is a little bit lower, health's about the same, but he does have this just myriad of damage reducing traits that really help him out to be more survivable than Niveus in general. Alright, Agnon. Looking at his, again, defense, defense, health. This one is primarily, I would like to have another strong defense one, but the addition to his epic attack is really helpful. With Agnon, if you can do straight epic attacks to stone the enemy, to petrify them, that can be very, very helpful. And right now that's the only rune I have that's doing that has the enabler modifier, but there are a lot of benefits there. Alright, again, fire, hard to get something good there. I think Agnon was the latest one to my team, so I haven't even maxed some of these out. It would be got plenty of gold for it, but was really hoping to replace with some damage reduction or something else, just to keep them in place. They do plenty of damage. The battles are already over in the first turn or two, maybe by the third turn. I want this team to win over time. I want it to be a sustained team, so I'm not really worried about damage. We don't have trouble finishing. The trouble is if they're taken out early and if their corpse is removed. So similarly, a defensive rune here, easy to find for a water rune. But low on defense, high on health. My preference would be to lean towards defense in general. And that's the, let's see, one more. So 2-star Lorelei. Again, these are very, very low stat levels. 500 defense, 10,000 health. And what I mean by that is that low star levels, really. I think I doubled up here on the light side with superior healer runes, defense, defense, health, and lots of max health, or lots of healing at the end of each turn. Health again here, it's the best I could do on a fire. Damage reduction, and defense, defense, damage reduction. Again, kind of really what I'm going for. Not an elite rune, but we're kind of just generally working with what we've got, which I think is going to be the same for most of you that are watching the videos as well. If you're not totally maxed out on everything, you can still make great progress, even levels below the max, and with whatever runes you've got from the last couple months, in my case. So that's most of it. I think that's all we need to talk about right now for tower pwnage. If I do get up to level 80 and kind of max out the team a little bit more, I can report back on success rate at that point, but right now I'm already, I'd say, well over half the time I can complete it, and even if I don't complete it, I'm getting very near the top of the tower pwnage, and it's helpful just to kind of as a metric for being able to work your team up that way. It's helpful for some of the events, not too often, not a huge part, but still kind of a fun game aspect. I wanted to be able to share that with you guys. Let me know in the comments if there are any improvements you could see, any changes, anything you've noticed. There's really a ton of information for the community. I would encourage anyone that's watching the videos, check out the comments primarily for all the knowledge from the other members and the other subscribers that are leaving comments down there with just lots and lots of information that I really appreciate as well. So that's it for now. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you guys all soon.